And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, I'm Darren. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. We're in the shop today working. It is brutally cold out. It is about 22 degrees, which may not seem that bad, but we've got about 40 mile-an-hour winds, and it's kind of like walking into a deep freeze with a fan on high blowing right on you. It's not comfortable to be out, but not a lot to do outside today, so it is sharpening day. I've been sharpening my Collins boys axe. We've been using a lot of our woodworking equipment the last several months, and I just finished up with the chainsaws, and now we're sharpening our hand tools. Use this a lot for limbing or splitting kindling. I would much rather have a boy's axe with a little longer handle than I would a hatchet. Fantastic for limbing limbs off of logs or splitting kindling. Light duty use. This has been a fantastic, budget friendly boy's axe. It's been really good. I have no complaints about this Collins axe. The only thing I wished I had have done, and I could still probably do it, is refinish this handle. It's really good and got a good feel to it. I just wish that maybe I would have rubbed some linseed oil on it or something to have preserved it a little better than I have. But it's a budget axe. You know, a buck going out's a buck going out, and I try to preserve everything the best I can and take good care of it. But you know, if it got lost or damaged beyond use, then you know I can always buy another one. So, and these things are pretty readily available. Collins axe. They're good axes for, especially for what you pay for them. I would like to have a Council Tools boy's axe, and one of these days I may invest in one. But hey, when you're out throwing this thing in the back of the truck, on the back of the four-wheeler, in the bucket of the tractor, it's been a good axe. Speaking of axes, I've never shared this one. This is an old double bit axe in the Michigan style, if I'm not mistaken. And there is no markings on this axe head. You can probably see that there's all kind of markings on this from forging, where it's been hammer marks all over it. There is no markings whatsoever on this double bit axe head, and I got this axe head from my dad. And if I'm not mistaken, my dad got this axe head from my granddad. There's no telling how old this double bit axe head is. And no markings on it. And I don't know exactly what it weighs. I've never weighed it. but I know it swings really well, and it takes a file sharpening really well. Not sure, that's really all I know about it. I know where it came from my dad. I've had this axe head myself for 30 years, and I'm sure my dad had it for probably 50 years, so that'd be 80, and I'm pretty sure he got it from my granddad, his father. So this thing's probably 100 years old at least, and it's on a hickory trooper wood handle that I put on, and it's a good axe. I don't use it just a whole lot. I use my boy's axe a whole lot more, but a double bit axe is at times really handy. And you can see it's dirty. I've not cleaned it up since the last time I used it. This one already has a good edge on it. There's really no need to sharpen this one. Today's sharpening day. We are going through all our hand tools and sharpening them today since it's so cold out. Not a lot to do outside. So we're going to take our time here in the shop, enjoy our day, and sharpen up some hand tools and just enjoy ourselves. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. If you've watched many of our firewood videos, you've seen me using a splitting maul, or what we commonly refer to as a go devil. You've seen me use this one a lot. This is a 8-pound Oregon style. The Oregon style is based on the head splitting maul, or what we refer to as a go devil. It has a straight handle. Most go devils or splitting mauls are going to have a straight handle in a sledge style, and this one is a fiberglass handle. And I've got to say, for years of replacing handles, hickory handles, now I only buy, for splitting mauls, I'm not talking about axes, for splitting mauls I only use a fiberglass handle. These things are going, when you're busting wood or splitting wood with it, they go down through, when you're busting big rounds, they go down through the fibers of that split and that wood so much, slivers of that wood and things of that nature. It's really, really hard on a wooden handle, on a splitting maul. I couldn't tell you how many of them that you use them, you start seeing chips coming out of them where you split down through, where the wood grain kind of curves, and when your maul goes down through it, this handle will start scrubbing the sides of some of that, and the next thing you know, those chips are getting deeper and deeper, and the next thing you know, your handle breaks. I went to the fiberglass handles as far as splitting mauls and never looked back, because they're straight. They're a straight style, like a sledge handle, and I like one with a little bit of texture on it. And you'll notice I always keep on every hand tool I've got like this that I'm using in the woods, even my little axes, you see that I put some kind of bright tape on them. If you lay this thing down somewhere in the leaves, and the next thing you know, you're looking around and going, where'd my axe go? You can't find it. That's the reason that's on there. You'll see it on all my handles. This particular splitting maul or go devil, I purchased this thing in about 1991, somewhere right in that area, and I have no idea what brand it is. I do know that the head is an Oregon style, and this is an 8-pound head. I have no idea what brand it is. It has no markings on it whatsoever. 8-pound is good. I found, for me, your mileage may vary, but for me, a really, really heavy go devil wears me out too fast. I'm much more effective splitting firewood with a 6 or an 8 pound. And this one is 8 pound. And I've used this one for since probably 1990 or 91, somewhere right in that area. And it's still going strong. Still the original handle. I'm gonna have to probably refit the handle here eventually because it's got chipped off some, the sleeve, but that's no big deal. This has been a darn good tool, but there's no telling how many cords of wood this thing right here has split. It's very good. Now I do have a 6 pound head, and I'm going to show you this one. No handle on it. I got this head, like I was talking about the double bit axe. I got this head right here from my dad, and it's in an Oregon style. And the markings on this is a Stanley, and it's 6 pound. Okay, I've done a little bit of research. It's been probably a month ago on these old Stanley heads. Back in 1913, Stanley purchased, and I've got some notes here to keep me from saying something that I veer off on. Stanley acquired the Atha, A-T-H-A, Atha. I guess that's how you say it. The Atha Company. And the Atha Company was a long-time maker of hand tools, axes, splitting mauls, shovels, things of that nature. Now this was in 1913. And Atha Company made a maul called the Woodchopper's Maul. M-A-U-L, maul. Okay. And they made 2 styles of these mauls, the Atha Company did. They made one in a straight, what they call a straight maul. It didn't have this flared end. It was very straight and tapered down to a point where, and then widened out, just like this. The top design was a lot the same, but your side profile didn't have this up and these swept ends, almost in an axe style. They made one in this style called the Oregon pattern, and they offered them in 4 weights from 6 pounds to 12 pounds. Okay, this one, I cleaned it up, and it has markings on it. It does say Stanley, USA on the very top, and then over on the bottom it says 6 pound right down here. That's stamped into the metal, and there's no date on it, but this thing's pretty old. If I was taking a guess from all the information that I read, this thing could be anywhere from the 20s or even maybe a year or two earlier, all the way up through the 90s. But based on the condition and how long I know this one has been around, this one is at least 60, 70 years old at the minimum. I got this from my dad. My dad got it from my granddad, like the old double bit axe I showed. So this thing is at least 60, 70 years old at the minimum. Could be older than that. And I'm really looking forward to getting this one back on a handle, because this is a 6 pound. This one is an 8 pound, which you think 2 pounds, really? That's not that big of a deal. It can be, especially when you get up in your age like I'm a-getting. This will be much, at the end of the day, this will be better for me. And this is a quality head. I'm getting ready to sharpen it. Now with a splitting maul, I don't sharpen a splitting maul like you would an axe. All I'm doing when I sharpen a splitting maul, I'm not really sharpening it. All I'm doing is just maintaining that bevel, where it comes down to a point. It don't have to be sharp, and I don't really want it sharp. I don't want it when I hit it sticks in like an axe would in a big round. If it won't start cracking that, then I want it to kind of almost bounce back off of it. So I don't want a fine sharp edge like I would on my boy's axe to trim limbs and stuff off with. And this thing's got a heck of an edge on it. I could just about shave with this thing, I think. You just want to maintain your bevel so it'll start splitting wood good. It'll dig in and eat its way in a little bit to start it going down into the grain of that wood to split it open. So I'm gonna while I've got this one out, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a reshaping just to keep that bevel good. And this one especially, the one I'm using now so much, I'm gonna go ahead and maintain the bevel on this one. And like I said, it don't have to be sharp. Just maintain the bevel. So we're going to do that just in a moment. And I enjoy sharpening stuff. That's a pastime of mine, I guess you might say, that I really enjoy. Very relaxing about good pipe tobacco, the taste and the aroma of a fine pipe tobacco. A splitting maul. You don't see a whole lot of people using splitting mauls anymore. It seems like now most everyone you see is using a splitting axe. And there's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, I used a splitting axe not real long ago of my nephew's, and it was a Fisker's, I believe is how you pronounce it. X27, I believe was the model. That thing split good. As good as that thing split, I'd still take this any day. I just grew up splitting firewood with a maul or a go devil. And that's what, in my area, we grew up calling a split maul a go devil. I don't know where that name came from. I really don't. But growing up, that's all I ever really heard one called was a go devil. Like I said earlier, with a splitting maul, you really don't. I'm really not sharpening a splitting maul. All I'm doing is taking a file and maintaining this bevel. That's really all I'm interested in doing. Any chips that's in it, things of that nature, I'm just leveling those chips out with a mill bastard file. And just maintaining that bevel. Alright, it don't take much. There's no need to go any further than that. I'll turn it around so I can match the other side. Sharpening day. Don't forget what's in your pocket. We're going to give our pocket knife a knife sharpening, a quick sharpening while we're at it. And this is one of my favorite pocket knife sharpening tools. It is a Smith diamond stone, and it just pulls out. This is kind of a case that turns into a handle. Turn around, put it in like that. On one side you have a fine, and on the other side a coarse diamond stone. Boy, this diamond stone, it don't take long. And strop it a little bit on some denim or leather. And I do have a beaver tail leather strop that I use. That didn't take long at all. Of course, that knife was still pretty sharp. Okay, we've got most of our tools sharpened. We're ready for when the weather breaks a little bit to where we can get out and get back to working in the wood. You know, doing all this sharpening, while I'm sharpening, I do some of my best thinking. Proverbs 27:17 tells us that iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Friends are so important in this life. If you didn't have any friends, what a lonely existence you would have. And likewise, a good friend will keep you on the right path. Likewise, a friend that maybe you need to break ties with will start leading you down the wrong path. So be careful who you hang out with, who your friends are. To have friends, the Bible says you must show yourself friendly. But not everyone who's going to walk up and pat you on the back and say, "Hey friend," is not a true friend. Be careful who you choose to have in your inner circle of friends. Be careful with picking your friends. Man, I'm telling you, sometimes you can think someone's a good friend until you've been around them a while, and then the true colors start coming out. So just be careful. Iron sharpeneth iron. You sharpen each other. And a good friend like that is priceless. I mean, priceless. So be careful with your friends. Pick a friend that will sharpen you as a person and make you a better person. A good friend will do that. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it, and I pray God blesses you and your family. Hope y'all have a fantastic day. I'm ready for spring.